You know he's coming when the fog rolls in. Popeye's Revenge is the latest in a long, never-ending line of popular children's IP / cartoon characters, very iconic characters that we all loved as kids, turned into generic slasher movie villains with ultra-cheap budgets and ultra-cheap production and terrible ADR and terrible goddamn gore. And look, if you're not going to make these movies in the least bit fun, why the fuck are you making them? I mean, honestly, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, Electric Boogaloo, as well as like 3 or 4 Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie ones, like The Mouse Trap. There's like a Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare or something like that. There's one about Hook, not the AEW wrestler Hook. And there are various others. This is found on Tubi, by the way, so you don't actually have to pay for it, because by and large, you can tell looking at this that nobody really paid much of anything to put this on film. Look, I understand that films like this are going to be a dime a dozen. When things enter the public domain, you are going to have filmmakers that are going to jump on this stuff, and they're going to do what they can to have a little bit of fun. At least that should be the idea. I mean, I'm sorry, you're taking Popeye, that really could be a pretty good horror character, and putting him in maybe 30% of your goddamn movie. This is directed by William Steed, who did Children of the Night. Whoa, oh yeah, it's the Children of the Night. And was also written by Harry Boxley. If you look at his IMDb page, he's been busy. Not necessarily doing anything that has been considered high-class entertainment, but he's been busy, and that's good. Let's have more people getting paid, even if the stuff isn't all that good. So, if you've seen Piglet, this isn't as bad as Piglet. I will say that much. This, at least, I guess, tries a little bit. I don't know what it's trying to do, but it's not as bad as Piglet. It's not as offensive as Piglet. Because Piglet, despite the fact that it had something, or a character tying into the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey universe, actually is not connected to that series of movies at all. I know, very surprising. So basically, if you don't know what Popeye is the sailor man. He has spinach in the can. He eats it. He beats up Bluto, and he saves olive oil. And look, there's not much to spoil in this. Basically, it's a horror spin where he has a deformity. He beats up some bullies in school because he's had enough. He's had all he can stand. He can't stand no more. And then some people go to his house, and after he's locked in the basement by his parents, there's a girl underneath, or in the other room of the basement, that sends him nice notes. Gee, I wonder if you can guess who the fuck the goddamn girl is. They don't reveal it's a girl, except in like a little bit of narration. You just see drawings going. Oh yes, and we get the typical storybook opening that I think half the budget went to, because that's actually where the effort goes. That's the thing. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I mean, the Cinderella's Revenge, I actually am convinced that movie is a fucking fever dream, despite the fact Natasha Henstridge, however the hell you say it, was in it. And there are a few returning actors from the Winnie the Pooh movies, such as the very, very, very attractive Danielle Ronald, who is Zoe in Winnie the Pooh. She has beautiful eyes. I do want to say that. You also have a redhead, Ava Ray, who ends up meeting the same fate. I swear that she met either in Piglet or one of the... I think it was Piglet. I don't entirely remember, because these movies do blend together, and I have already watched well over 100 movies that have been released this year. But I swear she meets the same goddamn fate in this that she met in one of the previous movies. So yeah, Popeye basically ended up drowning in a lake, and now, 15 years later, Jason Voorhees style, anytime the fog rolls in, he is going to hack and slash people, but not with a machete, with an anchor, because he is what he is. Yeah, this tries, I guess, to put a spin on the Popeye lore. It just doesn't do a very good job with it. And basically, you have a girl named Tara, played by Emily Mogilner, who has some ties, like, into the past of Popeye, kind of, but also not really. The story is really goddamn messy. And, yeah, terrible ADR, by the way. I mean, just abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Who did the sound work for this goddamn movie? Like, really? If you can't even make it sound like you're not using microphones from the 1980s or even 70s, you probably shouldn't be doing this. Were they, did you put him in the goddamn lake on accident and then brought him back out and said, yeah, that's okay, that's good enough. So yeah, that's basically it. You have your Popeye slasher stuff. You have a 15-minute opening where you finally show the opening title. That is, that's why, 15 minutes is when you see the opening title. The movie's 79 minutes long. We gotta stop this, especially when you have a movie that is barely qualifying the length to be released in theaters. And, yeah, Popeye eventually shows up to kill some people. Young, pretty people, some getting their tits out, some getting killed in hilarious ways, some that have just terrible, terrible reactions to getting killed. And that's about it. So, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, there you go. That's a quick turnaround to spoilers, but nevertheless. Basically, Tara's mother inherited Popeye's old house. She won't sell it. There's a reason for that. The reason is kind of revealed later on. Tara has a boyfriend, Dylan, and there are some young, pretty people that go with them. They're going to turn this haunted house turn Popeye's house into a haunted house exhibit, I guess. And, yeah, we do start with the opening with the people filming a YouTube channel and everything. God, boy, geez, who would ever want to do that? To be fair, by the way, that is how some people make money, and they make good money with it. Or you could be like me and just have this as a fun little side project and not do whatever the fuck they were doing in this. But yes, the redhead, I believe, played by Ava Ray, who plays the character Cherry, loses her cherry early on, har har. She ends up getting killed, axed, anchored, whatever. So, yeah, you have you have a girl named Mia, Danielle Scott. That must have gotten confusing, 2 Daniels on set. We need Daniel on set. Me Daniel or her Daniel? The one with the dark hair. I actually think Danielle Scott has dyed hair. Nevertheless, essentially, they all get killed. We go to the credits. Tara brings the people with them. A fisherman gets hit, warns them not to go to the house. They decide to do it anyway, and then they get killed in hilarious ways. There's a hot tub death. Oh boy, just like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Where is Amber? Where's Amber? The one that was in Baby in the Basket. I always screw up her last name. Where was she? You could have had her in this. She at least tries in movies. And Popeye lives in a boat. We see, a little bit of a hint of, the Popeye stuff, the spinach, but we don't see it where, it would get... We see, one can of spinach with, a little piece hanging out, but the label's taken off, because I guess they couldn't afford the sponsorship. They could barely afford lighting or proper sound, as I said. The forecast calls for fog. The fisherman gets killed. The mother is worried about what's going on with her daughter. Dylan reveals very quickly that, hey, I'm going to be moving to the other side of the country, whatever country it is. Could be the UK. Could possibly be Yugoslavia for how far these accents keep jumping all over the map. And they end up basically throwing that plot to the side until the very end. And also there's this one guy that is cheating on Danielle Ronald's character with, admittedly pretty redhead, but I'm sorry, if you have a woman with beautiful eyes like that, you do not cheat. You don't cheat in general. Trust me, I speak from experience on both sides. But yeah, that ends up kind of going tits up. That girl manages to send a text, but there's not really a great signal there, but that text shows up a little bit later after she dies, with her tits out, by the way, in the hot tub, because exploitation. And then, basically, one guy ends up trying to ask a girl out, a girl named Kathy, who's kind of a raging bitch. People are dying randomly, and she ends up taking a picture of herself and says, here, fap to that. So he does, on the deck, or dock, and then he gets stabbed in the dick with the anchor. Oh, yes, and also all the cars are taken out with an axe, the tires and stuff like that. You can tell because there's an axe very conveniently barely laying on a goddamn tire because we couldn't afford to actually destroy the cars. And Popeye also knows how to use a thresher. He also knows how to use a thresher and run people over. He does that once. And there's this random girl that has shown up during this that is like, oh, he's not going to like what you're doing to the house, this kind of stuff. The girl's Olive Oil. It's his sister, not his girlfriend. And Tara somehow factors into this. The mother was the teacher that was trying to stop all this stuff going on with Johnny, a.k.a. Popeye. And that gets revealed as basically the main reason why they had to stop him, because he was dangerous, he was evil, so they showed up and killed him, Freddy Krueger style, I guess, even though they set the house on fire and set the house on fire, but somehow everybody escaped. I don't really understand that. But he drowned in the lake, and that's hence the haunting, the fog, and all that stuff. And this is terrible, is what I noted several times on these notes. This is a terrible, terrible movie. And if I'm doing a bad job recounting it, I don't care, because the movie's bad. So there's this one part where I think it was Kathy tries to escape. The car gets tipped over, Big Show style, when he tried to tip over the Jeep, and then they had to edit and actually do something. But the fact that he could move that thing in general was impressive. Car gets set on fire, so I guess they can destroy one car. I think it was a Toyota Yaris, so nothing of value was lost. And the mother basically says, we had to do this, and Tara, you were, I guess Tara was part of the class or something. I don't know. I don't care at this point. The idea is the house is passed down, and if they take care of the house but don't do anything to it, then nothing bad will happen to them. But then Popeye shows up and does this. So, olive oil ends up getting set on fire at one point. Terrible fire effects, by the way. Whoever decided those should be the fire effects featured, you're wrong, and you're not cut out for filmmaking. So, if this is mean-spirited, I do not care, but these movies are paralyzingly dull and negate any positives that could be made by just taking a popular children's IP and making it a funny, goofy slasher. You have to make it a comedy at this point. Or at least not take yourself as seriously, and then you could maybe get a little more positive feedback. So they end up basically, the mother ends up getting killed, I think. I think Dylan's mother got killed just before this. And then they end up trapping Popeye on the ground and running him over with a thresher. And then they're going to leave. They throw the anchor key away, or whatever the fuck that is, or the boat key. I don't know what the hell it is. But then the fog rolls in and Popeye attacks. And then we cut the credits. Again, not as bad as Piglet, and I knew what I was getting into, but just, good God, if you're not even going to try. Not even going to try. It's like, this is the lowest of lows. If you're not even going to put in a little bit of effort to try to have some fun with it, I don't know why you even bother. Nevertheless, F. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.